alive. Well, alive, sort of, just about. Not quite comatose. How are you?
Alive too.
Alive too. Excellent. I'm alive 3. So
blinded by the sun. Look, hey, there we go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mine's in that corner.
Look at that. Very hand.
Out. She's in and she's out. Blimey, look at that. That's really cool. Have you got your curtains kind of?
It's just where the sun is. It's just.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just. I could do half and half, but that would just be weird. Anyway.
What an oddball, Heather.
You're telling me.
It takes one to know one, you know.
It does. It does. Hello, Red Wing.
Oh, dear. Hello, Red Wing. Sorry. Yes, hello. Welcome to Wednesday. Hello.
Witchy Wednesday.
Witchy Wednesday. Weird Witchy Wednesday. Oh, we've got Chris in. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Witchy Wednesday. Hope you're having a jolly good day. We're just doing strange things with the sun. Well, Heather is doing strange things with the sun. Look at that. Look. What do they say? Light shines on the righteous.
Oops. Nope.
I think that's a big fat note from me and a big fat note from you.
Yeah.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So what have you been up to this week?
Well, it's been a madly busy week. There seems to have been a lot of practical stuff on, like eye appointments and dentist appointments to arrange, and you know, all that kind of thing. It's one of those sort of what I call a worky work day.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit like that this week because I was trying to clear the decks a bit so that I wouldn't have it hanging over once the summer holidays start, which isn't far off for those of us in the Midlands.
When do they actually break up? Is it the 15th?
I think Alex's last day is the 16th or 17th of July, so it's the rest of this week and next week, and then they're off.
Yeah.
So I there's a lot of things I like to get done before I have to contend with extra people at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Remember it well. Yes. I always used to have a house full of, you know, people that I knew, and then some that I didn't know so much. I was like, who is that person? Just trundling about. Oh, that's so and so. Oh, is it? Okay. Had quite a bit of that. It's like, do they want to come on holiday? Yes, probably. Oh, bring them along.
Yeah, if only we did that here. It's not quite that simple here.
Yeah. No, it was very much like that at my house. It was like, you know, extra children turned up, and it's like, oh, come on, we're going away. You come too. Come on. Tell your parents. They're much more self-sufficient when you've got a crowd, you know.
Well, that's what we were trying to hope and persuade other friends to come along, but Alex is not of the opinion that that's a good idea. So.
That's a tricky one, because my kids were always very much like, you know, the more the merrier. So that was actually quite handy. So quite often I used to go camping with sort of 9 or 10 children in tow. People used to give me such funny looks like, my God, that woman's got no television, clearly.
Yes. No self-control.
No self-control and no television, clearly. Hi, Becky, how are you? So, yeah, it's like trundling around with all 8 or 9 children.
I'm trying to think they can't all be held.
No, but it was quite funny because size-wise, my kids are really quite little. And so they bring along some of their bigger friends and then some of their smaller friends, because there were friends even smaller than my kids were. And so it looked as though I'd literally had sort of like a 10-month break between every single one of the 9. It was really quite funny.
Exhausting.
Oh, give that woman a donut. She deserves it.
Yeah, and tie our legs together.
Sort of, you know, send a sheepdog out to go and round them up for dinner and that kind of stuff, and then set them free. Used to work a treat, really. But yeah, actually, I miss those days. They were really good fun, you know. And we did do a lot, and it was, you know, it was really good fun. I mean, sometimes it was just me with the kids, or me and a couple of friends with the kids, or whatever, and it was always just, you know, a hoot, really. I mean, you sort of like sit around the fire in the evening and sort of watch them drop off to sleep one at a time, and sort of like, you know, give them a prod and go tent, and off they drop, you know. So it was quite nice. So yeah, I miss those days. Actually, I did enjoy them. They were fun. But yeah. Somebody said you could probably borrow other people's children. That thought's not so appealing. No, thank you. No.
No. Well, yeah.
No.
Well, I'd be quite happy if Alex could tag along with, a group of other people, but sadly it doesn't. Well, obviously in these times it's less likely to happen, but it's like, oh, for goodness sake, your school days will be over before you know it.
I know. Mind you, you get to that phase, don't you? Especially it seems with boys and, boys and that kind of mid-teens, and you have to sort of prise them off the sofa or prise them off their Xbox with a fish slice, don't you? And it's like,
indeed, not easy.
Very firm spatula. Yeah. Yeah, crowbar. Out. Yeah. So I've had a sort of a worky week. I've done all sorts of really weird stuff for filming and things, and it's just been bizarre. Some of it's been quite sort of tame, but some of it's been just seriously odd. So I don't think I've got this particular role because I'll be filming on Friday, but I had an email from a music company, and they're like, "We like your look. We'd like you to submit a video raving to this particular track." It's like, okay, I remember raving. That was quite a while ago.
Scour the databanks. Yes.
Quick peek on YouTube so I could remind myself what I was supposed to be doing. Then comes the clincher, because once it's been submitted, then we find out that this particular video would be me dressed as a nun and raving.
Irony.
I love a bit of irony, don't you?
I do. That's quite.
And I so wanted that job. So wanted it. It's like, you don't even have to pay me.
TV.
Yeah, I know. You don't even have to pay me. I'll just tag up.
Yeah.
Just put me in a nun's habit and let me loose. But they clearly thought I looked like Mr. Bean's gran, so that was.
Okay.
No, we're not going to let her loose. She's going to have someone's eye out. So, so yeah, my dance is quite unique. It is if you're in your daughter's living room with the TV on quiet, and your son-in-law's in the back garden with his phone trying to look inconspicuous, and you're actually being videoed by your 7-year-old grandson with your 5-year-old granddaughter looking on disapprovingly. It's not the right context for raving, really. It's not. Don't do it.
It's not easy to perform under those circumstances.
No, it really isn't. Oh dear. Anyway, if you do ever happen to see a raving nun, it might be me. Just doing it for the sheer hell of it, you understand. Not being paid, because I don't think I've got the job, but
so many questions.
Yeah,
yes.
I know. It's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah. But there you go, you see. Yeah, we all love a bit of irony, don't we?
Yeah. A raving nun.
Raving nun. Yeah.
That's a good name for a pub, isn't it? The raving nun.
Yeah, good name for a nightclub too.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. So, yes, I've been doing that. And, so as I say, so it's, sort of worky stuff and a bit more mundane work stuff rather than the peculiar raving out of context. It's very strange doing it, sort of quietly in front of an audience. It's very odd.
Yeah, pressure.
Especially when the audience is so small. And
no alcohol involved.
No, and very disapproving. Yes. Yeah, 5-year-olds can be very disapproving,
Yeah.
Oh dear. So so that was a bit strange.
But we're on a waning moon now, aren't we?
We are on a waning moon. Yes.
Exactly. So it is starting to kind of,
Yeah, exactly. So what kind of magic would you do personally on a waning moon?
I think it would be about letting go of stuff. So it's not always about banishing, getting rid, but sometimes just letting go of obstacles in your way, unhealthy relationships, old habits as well. It's a good time for sort of getting rid of that habitual way of thinking when you get a bit stale and you're kind of like, I'm always doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's reconnecting, and changing it. Yeah. It's a more peaceful time to do things, isn't it? So I think it's a calmer time.
Yeah. It's quite funny because people tend to sort of associate, letting go of things and whatever with quite specific things such as addictions and, sort of gambling habits or biting your nails or, overeating or whatever the, the thing is that you've done this week that you think is a really bad idea. So, you know, people tend to associate with that, but they don't tend to think further into it, rather, like you said, about letting go of the obstacles that are holding you back. And I think actually it's a, you know, a really important thing to remember, that it's not just about specifics, it's about the minutiae within your day-to-day life that prevents you from being the person you could be, or having the career that you hope to have, or whatever it might be. And you know, that it's that minutiae that you can quite often concentrate on, and gets lost in translation, isn't it? And I think that's really important. So
it's kind of mindset, because you end up on, you know, especially when you're busy, as we've both been this week, you can end up a bit on autopilot. And although that's useful in its own way, it doesn't challenge you. You don't grow. You don't change and evolve.
Yeah,
you need to change and evolve. So more challenging things can do that.
yeah.
When a difficult situation will kind of force it, but sometimes it's getting that insight and thinking, well, actually, that was useful for me then, but isn't useful for me now, so I want to change it.
No, that's really, really good advice, Heather. Thank you. So that's really good. Excellent stuff. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? You know, people tend to sort of concentrate on the big things, but sometimes it's the small things that need alteration in order to get a better result, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. I'll tell that to the cat. They need to change their attitude slightly, and maybe we'll have less creatures brought in.
Well, there is that, yes. Highly unlikely to succeed. They don't usually do what they're told.
No. Cats aren't known for that, really, are they? Are they? No. I think I'm about to get the dish dance.
Again.
Indeed. Again. Well, there is visibility of the dish at the bottom. Despite the fact that there's stuff around the side, there is visibility of metal at the bottom.
But I literally have to go and move the biscuits around and say there were biscuits, and then they will eat.
Yeah, I know. But they don't like it if they can see the bottom at all, do they?
Oh God, no. It's like, you eat that lot, you're not getting any more, mate.
I know. And it's like, well, I'll eat them, and then perhaps you'll fill it up. It's like, no, it doesn't quite work like that.
In fact, one of the culprits is sitting in his usual spot on top of all my packing materials. Aren't you, Tinker?
Is he a molter?
Well, you think he isn't, but then he walks past you and there's just this sort of shower of very, very fine hair, because he's very silky, whereas at least with Max you can kind of see the, I don't know, the dust bunnies, you know, the fur bunnies that build up, but he actually sheds a lot more than you think. Yeah,
because all mine shed all the time, and it's not, they don't have a molting season. Everything's constantly covered in this film of fluff.
Just don't put your food down, that's the thing.
No, exactly, yeah. Although I have to say that the worst culprit was Maisie, and of course I don't have her anymore. You know, you sort of look at her in the wrong way, and it was just this fur explosion, really. It was just like, I've only looked at you, I haven't even touched you. It just would go.
And, of course they do that, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, and or like porcupines, they kind of like actively fire them out, don't they? And I swear she did that.
That's a defense mechanism.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So, do you think you're going out, don't you? You're not, because
not in that black outfit.
Yeah, white cat. Yeah, porcupine effect, not good. No, definitely not. Oh dear, no.
Have you done any magic this week? Done anything magic?
Yeah, I've done a few bits and pieces, really. And actually, yesterday, a group of us made some besoms, which was really nice.
You have to be very careful how you say that.
Besom. Do you know it comes from the same word as bosoms?
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool, isn't it? Yeah. Just get my bosoms out in the porch. I mean, my besom. Yeah. Here comes the postman. Where's my bosom? I mean, my besom. Yeah.
Oh dear.
But yeah, it was quite nice. So there was quite a collection of us, and we made these besoms. And actually, rather than doing a more traditional thing, you know, we sort of like, you know, ash handles or birch handles and then broom for the bottom. Actually, what we did, let me show you. What we did is stuck it up ever so professionally with sellotape onto my bookshelf.
Useful stuff, sellotape.
Yeah, it is. But I couldn't think of anything else at the time, and I was in danger of standing on it. But actually, the handle is applewood. So there's the handle.
Oh, yes.
Long. It's about 14 inches. 13, 14, actually maybe even 15 inches. And it's applewood. And this was cut about 2.5 years ago by a chap that used to come to my moods, really lovely chap called Colin. And he cut lots and lots of them. And I've had them ever since, just, waiting for a project, basically. And I thought, well, that's perfect, really, because obviously you've got the significance of apple, with sort of like love and protection and that kind of stuff, which is really rather nice. So we all used one of these lovely little branches that we've got. And then the bottom here, instead of using your traditional bristles, I've got all sorts here. So I've got flowers, I've got grasses. Obviously, it's not going to be that functional, and it will dry out. But I've got grasses here.
You've got rosemary in there as well.
Yeah, so I've cut rosemary from the front. I've got some sage, but actually, rather than sage leaves, I need to put my glasses on. Where's my glasses? Oh, right there. Rather than sage leaves, I used sage that's here, sage seed pods. Here.
Oh.
Where is it? Wrong way. That way. What am I doing? There.
There.
So sage seed pods. So a few spare hairs. So we've got that. I've got some jasmine as well. Bit of sweet William. And I've got some field maple as well. And some yarrow in there somewhere. Can't see it, but I've got yarrow in there. So, it's quite a sort of and some rue. So we've got quite a sort of concoction, and lavender, of different herbs and stuff there. So most of it is just to make it look pretty, but obviously you've got lots of different herbs and stuff in there for various different properties and things in there, and correspondences too. But I thought, well, that's just something a bit different, really, isn't it? So
yeah,
it's just
great idea.
A nice thing to look at, and the whole idea was, it was sort of a calming thing to do, but also a sort of a calming thing to have around. But I learned something about besoms that I've never, ever heard before. And this was that apparently when you get a new besom, when you get a new one, you shouldn't have it come in through your front door. It should come in through your kitchen window and not touch any of the sides when it comes in. And apparently that's an old Scottish tradition. Have you heard of that before?
I've never heard of that. That would be very tricky the way my windows are arranged.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, impossible, actually.
In a traditional house, generally that's feasible. But, certainly for modern houses, if you've got high-rise flats and that kind of stuff, I mean, that's nigh on impossible. But
you could come through the back door, I suppose. That would be equally. But the idea is it doesn't come in through the front. That's the point, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But, if you're on a high-rise and you've only got one door in and out of your dwelling, then it's a bit on the...
Yeah, that's not going to work.
But
people didn't live in high-rise flats then, did they?
No, that's true. That's true. But it was an interesting thought, because I thought, well, I've never ever heard that before. You sort of, and I love things like that when somebody comes out with something brand spanking new, and I'm like, oh wow, that's new. But yeah, apparently that's according to Scottish tradition. So
I'd be interested to know why, but yes.
Yeah, we know a few Scottish witches. We'll have to ask, won't we?
Indeed, yes. Very interested to know.
Now then, is my sellotape going to be reusable and recyclable, or am I going to have to use another bit? That's a good question.
It's not known for having the same amount of stick a second time around.
It isn't, is it? I'll put it there and I'll pull over later. That'll be fine.
Can't speak at all today. I'm really not functioning.
Yeah. So, Fuzzful
right,
says, Becky says it's beautiful. Thank you very much. And then she said, isn't the front door traditionally just for weddings and funerals?
Yeah, there is something about that, isn't there?
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, I think so. So I did quite a lot of looking for information about besoms before we made these things. And that wasn't something that I specifically noticed. But again, something else that I noticed which was a new fact to me. Now, obviously, we're all familiar with hand fastings, or most of us are familiar with hand fastings and jumping the broom and all that kind of stuff. But apparently that comes from African tradition. Did you know that?
I did know that it wasn't strictly sort of Celtic or English. Yeah. It's a borrowed thing that worked well.
Yeah, apparently it comes from African traditions, and apparently it's still quite commonplace, not just within Africa, but also in, for example, the African American communities. They still do it quite a bit, apparently, if my article is to be believed. So, yeah. So I thought, see, I just love learning new stuff.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. So yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So yeah, but I guess the front door, like with weddings and funerals, I suppose clearing negativity as well. If you're sort of shunting stuff out through the door, you want good to come in through the front and bad to go in through the back, don't you? And so on. So yeah, I love all this stuff. I do. I'm on the Ginger Witch again today, by the way. And for anyone that missed learning about Ginger Witch, we went to the Silent Pool Distillery, didn't we? We had a jolly good time.
We did. It was lovely.
Oh, it was lovely. Well, the weather was ghastly. But what was being offered was very pleasant indeed. So we had some Green Man gin and some, what's this stuff called? Apricot liqueur. And you mix that up, and you either do or don't add a little bit of tonic water to it. And we both sipped it and said, "Oh, Ginger Witch." And he said his perfect name for what he was hoping to put on his menu. So there you go. So if you go down there and see Ginger Witch on the menu, you know it's come from us. Yeah, down at Silent Pool. Absolutely lovely. So that's what I'm drinking, and that's what I'm thoroughly enjoying.
I'm drinking water right now, but there you go.
Oh,
dull.
Can't you just spruce it up with a bit of gin in the bottle? Nobody will know.
Maybe later. When Alex finishes karate, there might be one on its way.
At
half time for the football, of course.
Oh, God.
I know.
Yeah. I have to admit that hearing about, particularly yesterday and today, hearing about these sort of group activities, very large group activities with lots of
annoying
stuff, is somewhat more than a bit annoying, isn't it? We've just had a event that we were going to be going to cancelled.
Very last minute for no apparent reason.
Yeah. And it really galls me because, all of the normal protocol, the accepted protocol for COVID safety, etc., all of which had been taken into consideration. And the venue, they've been holding events before the thing they're supposed to be going for. And there's events planned for afterwards as well. None of them have been cancelled. There's other festivals within the same council area that are not that far away. None of them have been cancelled, but this one, billed as a pagan thing, has been. So
which makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah, so there's definite undercurrents of, is it because I'm pagan? There's definite undercurrents of that. And actually, the organiser has written to one of the broadsheet newspapers. Can't remember which one. Guardian, probably. But it's only a guess. But also to Channel 4. Because it's just, it's just smacks of, it's just so unfair. Everything was going to be outside and, I think there was an indoor bar. But I mean, let's face it, you can go to the pub. You can go to these venues and watch football with thousands of other people, or Wimbledon with thousands of other people. And yet,
makes you wonder. I mean, the fact was it had been planned for a long time. And I remember when I said, "Oh, is it still on?" I bet it probably isn't. It's, "Oh, yeah. So why invite, literally 2 weeks before it's due to happen?" That's exactly a bad thing to do.
Yeah. In fact, slightly less than 2 weeks, because the finish actually is everyone's due to go home on the Monday. And of course, the Monday is the 19th, when everything's supposed to be totally lifted, so it actually finishes after the time when, you know, the restrictions all end anyway.
Well, there you go.
Oh, yeah, so there's a lot of people that are somewhat upset, and they offered, and they sort of said, oh, well, you know, you can push it back to the middle of August, which is fine if other people haven't got previous plans, whether it's the visitors or whether it's the musicians or the stallholders or whatever, and that's fine. But of course, that's working on the assumption that nobody's got anything else planned for the middle of August. And actually, not only there are a lot of people that can't make it, but also there's another festival that particular weekend within about 30 miles. So
it's not going to work, is it?
That's not going to work. So yeah, so they've decided to completely pull the plug and try again next year. So it'll be kind of third time lucky, because obviously it was cancelled last year, now cancelled this year. So third time next time. So it's just so disappointing, and I really feel for Karen. I really do. You know, she's done all the right things, and the venue have done absolutely all of the right things. You know, there's no flies on them. They know what they're doing, and they're still having car boot sales and all that kind of stuff there.
Oh yeah, car boot sales have gone on for a long time.
Exactly, and you know, there's a lot of people at a car boot sale, isn't there?
There can be, and a fair portion of them have no idea about distancing or manners or anything, to be fair.
No. See, that's where you need a porcupine.
Well, I just give good daggers. Keep clear of me.
Or a machete. People don't come near with a machete. That works.
Well, that's just a bit drastic, though, really, isn't it?
Well,
and it's another thing to carry.
It is. Yeah, and that's not what you want at car boot.
No.
To be fair. To be fair, no, definitely not. They should invent some kind of hat that sticks out 2 meters, basically. Like
Good Lord, you'd take off in a high wind. It wouldn't be good.
Either that or you know the oh god, I'll tell you what's in my head. You know the Australian cork hats,
just bigger and more dangerous.
Just really, really big Australian cork hat that's got a 4-meter brim.
Good Lord,
corks
walking down the street. Very silly now.
Oh, see, my mind's on a peculiar trip, clearly. Oi! Stop it! Did you hear that?
The cat, not me.
That was my cat attacking my chair, wasn't it? Wow. That was naughty. And not only was he attacking the chair, he wasn't attacking the side that normally attacks.
Oh.
Well, so he wants to even up the damage. Yes. Oh, he's going to go in the box now. Got a whopping great big box. You know, sometimes you get something delivered and it's in a jolly good box and it's too good to go in the recycling.
Well, I reuse them. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep that because that might come in handy for something for me to make, because it's got really good strong cardboard. And I thought, oh, I'll hang on to that. Next thing I know, I've got 3 cats sitting on the top of it. It's all dented. And, not so good now.
Well, cats and boxes, it's well known, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't mind it being in, but no, they were on it, so they've squashed it.
Oh.
Yeah, and now I haven't got the heart to take it out now. Because they seem to quite like it. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Just an old softie, really. Right, what we got here?
Wibble Chick needs to go to the silent pool.
Oh,
not so silent pool.
Oh God, yeah. I need to go there. Last time it was pouring with rain. Susie's car broke down and we had to call for help. Oh no.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place. It's absolutely amazing.
It's absolutely stunning, isn't it? I wonder what it's like when it's not drizzly. It must be amazing. Mind you, I bet it's that much noisier though.
It must be nice when the place is shut, you know, when it's not going. Because they've got all those big tree roots. The huge woven tree roots, like something out of Lord of the Rings. Amazing.
Yeah. I think the thing that I was really blown away with was all the algae covered rocks that are underneath the water. And because the water's so clear, you can't tell whether they're 6 inches under the surface or 6 feet under the surface, because that water's so clear, isn't it? It's beautiful.
Yeah, really
amazing. I think
amazing.
when a nice time to go there would be, and that would be around this time of year, sort of 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, when it's quiet.
It's quiet, actually silent. Yeah, lovely actually there, wouldn't it, that time? Yeah,
yeah, it'd be lovely.
Because, you know, as soon as people start waking up, of course, it's, you know, there's people about and it's noisy, and well, that's fine. They're enjoying it. But if you want silent Paul to be silent, you've got to go when other people are silent.
Absolutely.
Exactly. But no, I was really blown away with it. I thought it was lovely. It wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be, actually, to be fair.
Yeah, I didn't have any preconceptions, but it was very lovely.
Particularly, and it didn't look like I thought it might, but then it looked different in a good way, especially, as I say, with those boulders and stuff under the water. I just thought it was lovely. Absolutely lovely.
Yeah, it's kind of like another magical world you just want to get lost in. Lovely.
Yeah. Could sit there and look at it for ages, but not with that noise. That noise was a bit distracting, wasn't it?
It was a bit.
We're just old boots, that's all it is. Now, if we'd been in that bar talking with a gin and making noise, we wouldn't have squeaked about it, would we?
The Wibblechicks just said go at dusk or dawn. It's very eerie. We used to visit, and I was a child. So yeah, that's the perfect time, isn't it?
Yeah, dusk wouldn't be.
Not now, not with the bar.
Not now, not with the bar. But yeah, dawn would be lovely, I think. Yeah. Let's give Dawn a ring, see if she wants to go.
We're here a week.
Boom, boom. Yeah, no, it was. I thought it was lovely, actually. And of course, then there's always the possibility of just nipping in the distillery once it's open. Wouldn't hurt.
Not to. Rude not to.
Wouldn't hurt, would it? No, definitely not.
No.
Oh dear. What else have I been doing? Not a lot, really. As I say, it's been mostly kind of sort of like general practical stuff, as I say, making and gardening. Actually, I've done quite a lot of gardening in between showers, which is it's been difficult to do gardening. You sort of keep watching, don't you? And it's like, oh, it's stopped, and then it's all squelchy. And I've got a snail in my kitchen, and I can't reach him because it's been so wet. Even the snails come in the kitchen for shelter.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's like, what is that? Oh, it's a snail. Better call UB40 and get him to change the lyrics.
Indeed. Not a rat, but a snail.
Not a rat, but a snail, yeah. But he's just in a spot, and I can't reach him. Even with my ladder, I can't reach him because he's just in an awkward spot that I can't reach.
Oh.
It's very annoying. Yeah. So I'm hoping that he'll, sort of, he's probably having a snooze at the moment. I noticed him this afternoon, so I think he's having a snooze. And I'm hoping that he'll wake up later and start trundling to a point where I can actually hoik him off.
Yeah, that would be nice. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Hans is in.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Are you feeling better?
Yes. Where are we? What's that say? Even when yes, I've been at night to Chris. It's amazing. Did you go right up the steps too? Ah, yeah, that must be for Silent Paul. Wow, 50 years ago. Yeah, no, you should go again. It's lovely. As I say, it's just for us, it was just marred a bit because they've got that bar, and of course, people were having a jolly time and being noisy and having to sit outside, even though it was drizzly and mizzly. Everyone had to sit outside because of the restrictions and stuff. So of course it was just, and there were a lot of kids running about, weren't there?
Yeah, there were quite a lot.
No one had the forethought to push them in. I don't know why, but they didn't. Yeah. I thought I might get in trouble, so I thought better not. But yeah, they could have slipped or something, though, couldn't they?
They could have done, yeah. But I think they belonged to somebody who was sort of keeping an eye.
Yeah, and I suppose they'd have noticed if you pushed. So yeah. But anyway, I mean, they weren't doing any harm. They were just having fun, really, weren't they? But it was just distracting from having a peaceful time. So it's not criticism, really. It's just that it wasn't what we'd expected. But yeah. When you hear the word Silent Paul, you expect
silence.
Yeah, silence. And that's kind of what I was hoping for. I'd really had this kind of vision that it was just going to be this sort of like open space that was just nothing about, and it was just really silent. You couldn't hear sort of birds singing, and yeah, in my head there somewhere.
Yes, that Indian place. Obviously, it was pouring with rain. It wasn't really the time to be sitting outside, but it looked really nice.
Actually,
like street food. I thought, oh yes, any other time would have done.
Classes there, I think it said, didn't it?
I think so. Yes, yeah. I had a few things there.
Yeah, yeah.
But the Indian food looked quite authentic.
Miserly, so we scurried about really, didn't we, rather than taking it all in too much. So yeah, and that in the Portaloo.
Exactly. There would have been nothing there at one time, as not the same now.
Yeah, yeah. But no, it was nice. And I will go back, definitely. And as I say, I think if you're in the mindset of going to the pub on the lake, that's a different thing. But we didn't go with that mindset, did we? So it just wasn't. It's like there's
unexpected.
There's a place that I've been to a handful of times, and it's called the Wire Mill. And that is a huge lake, actually, massive lake, and it's got this very, very old pub that's because that's not an old pub at all, is it? But it's got a very old, 300 or 400-year-old pub on the lake, and that's the only thing that's on the lake. There's not a single thing on it, but you tend to go there because you're going to the pub rather than because the lake's, sort of a bog standard lake. Basically, it's very nice, but you tend to go to that place because you want to go to the pub because it's on the lake rather than go to the lake and it happens to have a pub nearby. Do you see what I mean?
Yes. Order priorities. Yes.
Yeah, and actually it's very, very nice, and it's one of those low pubs that you have to wear a crash helmet in,
with beams.
Otherwise you go to the toilet and then you've got this big red mark when you come back. You can tell the people that have gone to the toilet and haven't been there before because they're all sort of wearing the same branding.
Yeah. Doink.
Mind jock. Oh, head. Yeah. And steps in places that you're not expecting steps. That's always a nice tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like,
So I meant to do that,
yeah.
Oh God, very embarrassing. Yeah, there's a step where I go shopping sometimes, and it's like you sort of get a feel for steps, and you know how steps feel, don't you? And you sort of you're just used to doing steps, and you're used to doing steps in public, and you've kind of got this gauge in your mind without even thinking about it that you need to raise your foot up this much or put your foot down this much in order to achieve the step that you want to make. But this has got one odd step that is about 3 inches higher or deeper than all of the other ones around it. And it catches me out every time. So I think you'd remember because you feel like an idiot every time you do it. And you've done it for the 15th time. And it's, I still feel like an idiot. Yeah. Oh, God. Not good. Yeah. Give it a small cushion or something on it. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
But it's what you expect and what the reality is, and the two things don't gel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I've been doing some gardening. I got given quite a lot of plants yesterday, actually, which was quite nice. I got some tomatoes and stuff to put in, and some surprise plants.
No one knows what they are. They could be anything.
They were growing in my friend's compost, Laura, if she's in, hello. And they were growing in her compost. So clearly they're a vegetable of some description because they've grown from whatever seed was in there. But it's a bit of a toss-up as to what they might be. So we shall see.
Potato. Potatoes will grow from the tiniest little bit.
Definitely not potato. Definitely potatoes.
I've had a lot of that happen.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not potatoes because they've got quite fine leaves on them. But we shall see. I mean, it could be like a squash or a pumpkin because they're kind of squash-shaped leaves with a certain amount of flesh to the stems. But we'll see. We'll see what happens unless the slugs get first. That's always a thing, isn't it? But yeah, so
finding out.
See what happens. Yeah. So So I've got them, and I've got some mint as well, which I brought home from various collections that we had to make the broom bristles. But I found that with mint, if you just stick it in water, it sprouts roots really easily, doesn't it? So
yeah,
I've told it that's what I want it to do. and I expect it to be done by the end of this week. So
yeah, just when you plant it, you have to plant it in a pot, because otherwise it will take over completely.
Yeah. I never have luck with mint. Everyone says that to me. Oh, you've got to plant it in a pot because otherwise it will take over your garden. It's like, I'd like more than 4 leaves personally. That'd be really nice.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So everyone else sort of like has this problem with mint that it goes all over the place. But for me, it takes one look at me and goes, do you know, I can't be bothered. That's the end of that. I can get it to root, no problem, but it's beyond that point that I have issues with it. So we'll see. We shall see.
I've got raspberries in my garden, and they're kind of little green things. I'm waiting for them to ripen. So, I like to go and pick as I go down the garden, just have a couple on. Well, I can't really do that now, but pick a few for my consumption later, because they're one of my favourite fruits.
I love them. I really do. I've got such a big raspberry patch. I'm really lucky. Last year I had kilos of raspberries. This year, of course, everything's very, very late, isn't it? So most of the canes that I've got are literally still in bud. They haven't even bloomed to get that point of, the small fruit afterwards. Although, excuse me, when I was down there today, just sort of putting my hose away, I noticed that I've got maybe 4 or 5 little tiny raspberries on the lower ones that have been, obviously less subject to rain. But it's not like last year. And also, we were having a discussion about plums, weren't we? You've got no plums on your tree. Well, I've clearly got the odd 1 or 2 here and there, because I've got a couple of dud ones that have fallen off. We've had quite a lot of high winds in the last couple of days. And I've got a couple of dud ones that have fallen down. So I've clearly got 1 or 2 here and there. But I haven't got the glut that I had last year. It was amazing last year. I had over 4,000.
We're having such a wet May as done for a lot of soft fruit, I think.
I think so. Yeah. Shame, really, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it varies. Normally people complain that spring's too early and, everything's over before this time of year. But, I mean, my garden is very jungle-like. I mean, for all that rain, it is. You turn around and it's like, oh, it's grown again.
Yeah. But it seems to be the wrong stuff that's growing. So there's lots and lots of foliage, but there's other stuff that's not happening. And it's just a bit weird this year, isn't it? But we've talked about that many a time, haven't we? But
yeah. And brambles. Yeah.
Brambles. Oh God. Yeah. Brambles everywhere. Yeah, I've been hacking them back too. I got attacked by stinging nettles the day before yesterday. And there's that whole thing that if you grab them with the palm of your hand, it doesn't sting, because obviously the hairs go through the hair follicles, and it's that causes the stinging. This particular set of nettles that I was removing, and I was only removing them because I couldn't see, they'd got so tall, they were taller than me, and I couldn't see my fuchsia bush. So it's like, I'll just cut a few of them back so I can actually see them. And they were in full flower, with the dangly little flowery bits on. And I thought, well, I'll take them down and then whatever. So I grabbed it with my hand, and it stung me on my thumb, on my, sort of fingerprint part of my thumb. And it's like, how tough have those hairs got to be, and big have those hairs got to be to penetrate the skin on your thumb?
Exactly. I mean, a little immature plant, you're probably right. You probably could do it, but no, anything that's as tall as you is going to be tough.
Yeah. So it was a big one. It really was. But as I say, it literally stung me through my thumb, and I had a couple of other stings elsewhere as well, and they were stinging for until the next day, actually, until I sort of woke up yesterday morning and they were still a bit tingly. They didn't hurt; they were just tingly,
That's quite a strong one then. Yeah,
definitely. So, and I only cut it down rather than pull it out, because I wanted to see my fuchsia bush, which is very pretty, but I couldn't see it before that. But but it's like, wow. So so there are some things that are going berserk, but then there's other things like sort of annuals and stuff, and they're just not growing all that well, really. I think it's just too soggy for them.
Yeah, needs some drying out.
And some warmth.
Because that would be nice.
That'd be nice. I've had my jacket on all day. Cold. So keep thinking maybe tomorrow. Always the optimist,
It's meant to be a bit warmer tomorrow. It's meant to be better for a couple of days.
Yeah.
But it's very old.
Brandy. I did. Bramble brandy. Oh, how do you make that? How do you make that, Chris? That sounds interesting. I suppose it's the similar sort of process to the sort of like the slow gin where you steep things and stuff. Maybe, I don't know. Can you let us know?
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, definitely. I made lots of blackberry wine last year, which went down a treat. And I made blackberry gin too. Actually, that was nice. Spiced blackberry gin and regular blackberry gin, if you must know.
None of which is left now.
None of which was left for you, I don't think, was it? Did you have some? Did I drink it all before I saw you?
I think you'd laid waste to it.
I'd guzzled it all, had I? I'm so sorry.
You made it. Why shouldn't you? There we go. Soaking bramble berries in brandy, so it's the same steeping thing.
Yeah, it's that same principle. Yeah,
nice.
Ooh, yum. Yeah, I thought of doing it in brandy actually. That's a good idea. Yeah, I did slow gin and blackberry gin, raspberry gin. The raspberry gin, oh my god!
Yeah, I quite like it in vodka because the actual vodka itself has no flavour, so you get a very clean taste of fruit.
Yeah, nice, very nice. Yeah, I like to put sort of different spices and things in too. Just I don't know, just give it that certain something. So what's this bit here? I had some slightly squishy berries, put them in brandy, and hid it away for you. So I suppose that's a similar kind of idea with like the rum top thing as well, isn't it? Because you do that whole thing of, is it like you put in a layer of fruit and a layer of sugar, and then cover it in whatever alcohol, don't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then you kind of
sort of thing.
layering it, don't you? And then once you've drained everything all off, is it supposed to be Christmas Day that you get your spoon out and then you eat all the fruit? Eat all the fruit that's in there. And
I know people just make a tart of it, of all the fruit. Yeah.
Or just eat it as it is with sort of ice creams or whatever.
And then fall over.
Exactly, but then you probably wouldn't wake up until New Year's Eve. That might be quite nice.
Maybe that's the idea.
It's comatose for 6 days. Oh, is it New Year? Oh, it is. Bravo, let's start again.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. God, I sound like a right alcoholic, don't I? I'm really not, Oh, dear. Yeah. I just think it's really nice to have homemade stuff. It's, and I like the process of making things, and I like the fact of having something that I've made, and it might be as nice as something as you might be able to buy in the shop, or it might be nicer. And actually, that's not the point for me. It's the point is actually to make it and think I did that, and it's
satisfaction, isn't it?
Satisfaction, yeah. And it's like, yeah, it's okay, or it's a bit. Oh, I might lose my left eye.
Yeah, what was it? Your dodgy wine that you're going to give me and didn't.
Yeah. So in my cupboard, I have a bottle of plum wine, and in brackets, dodgy. So it's definitely kept for desperation needs.
I wasn't that desperate.
But no, you really weren't that desperate, were you? It's like, I've got this one. It says dodgy on it. And it's like, oh no, perhaps not. I'll have a cup of tea.
Yeah. Water for me, thanks.
So yeah, I don't think I'll inflict that on anybody. But as I say, if I get absolutely desperate on some occasion, then maybe I'll have a thimbleful and see, whether I lose my hearing or something. And then
oh no.
If I haven't lost my hearing in an hour, then I might have a bit more.
I think that'd be all right. Could use it in cooking. There's always that.
Yeah, there is that actually. Although to be honest with you, I've got so many jars of, preserves and things and conserves that I've made.
Oh, you have, yeah. Delicious.
That, sort of using it in that too. I'm not sure. So yeah, I'm working my way through slowly but surely. Yeah, and then of course it'll be time to do it all over again, won't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go again. Got all the jars in readiness.
Oh yeah. Never throw away a jar.
Yeah, no, never knowingly throw away a jar. I did have to throw one away today, which was really annoying because I carefully washed it all and then put water in it so that I could put my mint in to, order it to grow roots. And there's all this water everywhere, and it's got this crack right around the bottom. It was a waste of the time then, wasn't it? So yeah, one jar hits the dust.
Oh dear. Oh, Wibblefoot, no. The
Yeah,
dodgy plum wine. Blended laxative. Chip and giggles, probably both at the same time.
Well, you probably, if you started giggling, it would probably one bring on the other, wouldn't it?
That's not where you want to be going there. No.
So yeah, if I am ever brave enough to drink plum wine (brackets dodgy), I will
report.
I will give a full report. It might be that I chicken out. I probably, knowing me, I'll have it in the cupboard for about 10 years, and eventually it'll be like, do you know what? I don't think I will. That's kind of how I roll, you know. Yeah. Yes, so I may well have it sometime before I make that final decision. You just don't know.
Oh, now Wifflechicks just said try putting a willow leaf or two in with your mint, I think that is. It seems to encourage root growth in most things. A willow leaf?
A willow leaf? Well, I suppose they like to root all over the place, don't they? They must have some kind of hormone or something that they...
Yeah, mint. We knew it was mint. It's all right. Pint just didn't scan.
Yeah.
We can translate.
Yeah. Yeah, I might do. So generally I can get things like that, and I can get them to root really well. It's the transition of, once I've got roots, then putting it in soil and getting it to stay alive. That's where I fall down. Roots, lovely. Staying alive with roots, not so much.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I do wrong. I really don't know what I do wrong. And I've tried all sorts of different things.
Do you put it in compost or garden soil?
Do
you pot it?
Compost, but I pot it, and do all that stuff, potting compost, blah 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 blah. And I've tried everything, and I've done it with and without rooting hormone powder or gel. And I had I was given a bouquet of flowers ages ago, and it had pinks in it, and all of the pinks grew while they were in the vase. They grew those extra side shoots, and I thought, right, they're right for doing what you need to do with them. So I hooked all them off, put them in water. They all sprouted an absolute mass of roots. I'm like, brilliant. Put them all in soil, and they were dead within 10 days. So I just don't know, and it happens with everything that I do. And I'm like, so what do I do that's wrong? And I really can't work it out. I absolutely can't. Maybe one day I'll tweak. It's probably something really simple, but I just can't work it out at all. It's very frustrating, actually. Yeah. So I don't know.
The mystery rolls on.
I know. I'm just useless. So I can get things to germinate. And it's similar if I grow things from seed as well. I can get anything to germinate, but then I can't get it from the germination tiddly little plant to that next stage of it being a decent sized plant that will then thrive. I can't do that. It's that middle stage thing.
I do have trouble with that as well, but that's not having somewhere protected enough to put them while they're likely to get munched or keel over from
no, I'll keep them in the same place. I'll keep them in the same place as they were, and it's the same, and they just go. Okay. Although, having said that, I've got 7 runner beans growing up holes that I actually managed to get going. So that was good.
They're pretty hardy, they're pretty hard to kill off, I think.
Yeah. But I was really sort of quite keen on making sure that they were big before I put them out and stuff. Maybe I just transplant too early, I don't know. But
yeah, I think that's the thing. We get impatient and wanna.
Yeah. I mean, I could understand if they were just an inch or so big. I'll wait until they're a decent size. But then have I left it too long before then transplant? I'll give up.
Yeah, exactly.
I give up. So I try really, really hard. I transplant them all. They die. I get disappointed. And then I speak to Laura, who gives me a plant that's twice the size, and then I work from there.
That's the thing, is buy a plant if you can't grow from seed.
No, I then see Laura, who supplies me with one that was done properly.
Yeah.
So I sort of had that sort of little bit of time of disappointment, and then the elation of having something that somebody else has managed to do for me. I finished off. So yeah, that's my thing. So I've got about 6 tomato plants to go in. And they were going to go in today, and then I remembered she said, don't do it tomorrow because they need to settle. Okay. So I nearly forgot, but I did. So yeah.
So they might survive after all.
Well, we shall see. I'm not planning on finishing them off, but who knows? I'm not the best gardener in the world. Never professed to be. Some of it, just seems to do its own thing and is pretty good. And other times it's just like, why can't I do that? Other people can do that. Why can't I do it? I don't know. Right, what did Chris say? Compost might be too rich. My mint loves clay soil. I water it with the water from the bird's bowl, so it's messy. It loves it. Right, okay. I shall love clay soil. I've got some clay soil in the corner, actually. Yeah. Right, thank you. I shall take you up on that, see how we get on. Okay, thank you. Yes. Well, it's gone 9 o'clock. I suppose we ought to say toodle pip.
Ooh, I would imagine so.
Yeah, indeed.
It's been a very practically session tonight, but sometimes that's how life is.
It is. Well, thank you for bearing with us this evening. Thank you, everybody, and for chipping in with your helpful hints about things. And we'll see you next week with updates on plants, no doubt.
Did it survive?
Did it survive? Have you killed it yet? Is it yet dead, or is it just about to go? Yeah. Oh dear. So we'll see how we get on. But I'll see you all next week. Have a fantastic week. Enjoy the moon. What's left of it. And
we might be able to see it if we're lucky.
Yeah, it's not come round enough yet for me.
No, not yet.
We've got a little bit way to go. So yeah, nighty night everybody, and thank you again. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.